What's good, everybody? Welcome to another broadcast here from Fast Break here for iSports Radio, Unity for All Sports. D-Locke, we're supposed to talk about week one of the NBA, but the gambling drop happened. What's your thoughts on it real quick before we turn off to these messages?
Well, right now, I think that obviously we got to mention about J-Rose and Billups, and we'll go over that. But I think gambling right now for college sports is something that's big. Obviously, making it to where they can bet on pro sports only, not college. That was coming around at some point. I can tell you now, the NCAA has changed every other day. So I'm not really too surprised by it, but I think it's going to continue a lot to the person.
Yeah, lots of head talking to tonight. It's going to be real heavy tonight. And we're going to get your thoughts on the NCAA allowing the betting on the pro sports. You as a former athlete in the NCAA and now as a coach, I'd like to hear your thoughts and insights on that as well. So it's going to be a heavy show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of info, lots of talking. If we get to the basketball, we can. We love to, but it seems like this is going to be very heavy, deep conversation tonight. So we'll catch on the other side of things. But after that, we want to dive deep into all the pros, all this stuff afterward. But this is Fast Break here for iSports Radio, Unity for All Sports, and we'll catch y'all on the other side.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. iSports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
All right. Welcome back to the broadcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fast Break here for iSports Radio, Unity for All Sports. I don't know if you saw what the message I just sent you. Brian Kelly got fired from LSU.
Hey, the SEC, no joke, man.
Oh.
Packed them up. Paid that money too.
Damn.
Paid all that money. $54 million.
Let me ask you this real quick. And since you're in the NCAA world, do you think some of these coaches, these high-profile football coaches, will probably get lower annual pay? If you think about it, like they got to pay him out like what, $50 million something dollars?
Mm-hmm.
James Franklin, about the same thing, a little bit more to him to go away. Do you think, with the gambling and NIL and stuff like that, you think some of those coaches' salaries be lowered over the next several years? Throw in basketball as well, like,
I think it is. I think that I think it's going to be lower in some sports, but when it comes to football and basketball, I think because of how the NCAA is transforming, these bigger sports are going to continue to get those high dollar checks. Those coaches are going to get those just because you're going to have NIL, you got the gambling thing going on now. You got these different ways these schools are making money. Now the alumni, these fan bases are going to still put money in to it. So to me, I just think that the SEC, the A&M, the LSU, the Texas, they got that money. You know what I mean? To where they can pay out and then go get somebody else. Now the question is, does the buyout, does that get lowered? Do they put them high-priced salary coaches, but the buyout to get them to leave, is that going to be lowered? Just because of obviously these different things going on. So, but I think salary-wise, like, these big schools who are going to capitalize the most from this money, from these different rules that's changing, only thing is their money's just going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Their money's going to keep going up. So now I think the salary is going to continue to raise for them. It's going to hard to see it go down, but who's going to hurt the most is these smaller schools. Because I think now these other coaches can go to these bigger schools where there's more money. Now obviously these NCAA rules are changing, like the gambling thing, betting thing. Now they're willing to go to these bigger schools, and now they can gamble on however they want. So seeing it now, like, come on, dude, like a $54 million for Brian Kelly, and then James Dent got what, $56 million. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to tell somebody to stay away from, to leave the school. But also now you got to think about, they're paying that person, then they got to pay the dude coach that they bring in. So where's that money coming from? And the fan base and alumni has to come up with that. These trustees got to come up with it. So I don't know, man. I think if anything, like the smaller schools are going to hurt the most, but the bigger schools, man, they finna capitalize big time.
Yeah, just speaking to there's kind of breaking news about Brian Kelly getting fired. In the basketball world, you don't see anybody on a bubble like that, really. But compared to basketball, some of these guys don't get big, salaries like you see in football, because football bring the money in. There's rumors, as an Alabama fan, like Nate Oates, as great job he done in Alabama. If Hubert Davis, for example, don't have the expectations again like he should at Carolina, do they possibly look at somebody like Oates? Okay, say, hey, man, you doing a great job at Alabama. I know they built you a nice new practice facility down there. Now, granted, the arena thing, but we could do that better for you here. You got this here in North Carolina, basketball wise. We'll take care of you. We're a basketball first school. I saw something that, they might build a new arena out in Chapel Hill sometime down the line. Enticing. He got a large buyout. I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan, if they go pass plate around, hey man, got an opportunity to get this coach. You keep shelling $1 million? Sure, I can do that. You put my scar down, do that. Done deal. So, Hubert Davis is about the closest one I can see basketball-wise around who's on the bubble like that. Nobody else really, if I can really think of them basketball-wise. This football is just like so much pressure, man. It's just like you see me the thing yesterday about Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, damn, I don't know, man. And then next thing you know, they struggle against Mississippi State. I was like, oh, damn. If they lost that game, then yeah, we probably be hearing more of that. But they finally want to win the game. But there's a lot of high stakes going on right now. And a lot of pressure and stuff like that, coercion and all that stuff, which is going to lead us to our main topic right here. D-Locke, we chatted throughout the opening week.
Mm-hmm.
We should be talking and celebrating Victor Wembanyama. We should be talking about how the rookies fare in their first week. Shout out to VJ Edgecombe. We should be talking about why some of these teams don't have a point guard and are struggling. I mean, not struggling, but it's like just kind of shooting themselves in the foot how they play basketball. We should be talking about Luka still making the Mavs look bad with that trade.
Right.
Should be talking about the Celtics being 0-3. I say all this, D-Locke, because the NBA got rocked hard this past week with gambling accusations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we dive deep into this, a lot has been made because the three people that we're going to talk about here are Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones. So you got a head coach, a current NBA player, and a former NBA player that's kind of just around the league doing something in Damon Jones. They were arrested early, I want to say Thursday morning, early in the morning. They all did the perp walk. They show Rozier in a Hornets hoodie. Billups, he walked out, I think the Portland office, whatever, not saying a word to nobody, all this good stuff. But D-Locke, over 30 people have been indicted in connection with this illegal gambling operations tied to the NBA. Now, for Rozier, it was for the betting and the props and stuff like that. The unders, all that good stuff. Damon Jones, Chauncey Billups. Damon Jones, same thing with the props, stuff like that. And the illegal gambling rings. Chauncey Billups seemed like he's just in the illegal gambling and stuff like that, poker games, all this stuff. D-Locke, your first initial reaction to those guys getting arrested and the indictments and stuff like that, and hearing the mob being involved. Your first initial reaction seeing all that early in the morning.
I just think that you look at the situation where anytime I look at these pro athletes or coaches, especially in the NBA or NFL, let's look a quick look at Terry Rozier. His career earning is $160 million, right? I mean,
and plus the 25 this season.
Yep. So I mean, you're talking about a lot of money where you are good even after taxes. Let's look at Chauncey Billups as a athlete. Let's see, they don't have his career. They have his career earnings. Career earnings $106 million. So we talk about athletes that's made over in their athletic career, and Chauncey Billups as a coach that's made over $100 million. before taxes. Cool, get it. My first thought process is, why the hell what's so big about gambling like this? I mean, you're making so much money. Like, what the hell I mean, you and then like you're making all that, you done made all that money. Like you said, a lot of time on your hands. So okay, cool. Chauncey Billups ended up being the coach. That's probably a lot of his time that he's invested into. He probably got a lot of time investing in that being coach. So where in the hell is this extra time to be going through this mafia stuff and doing all this different backyard gambling stuff, illegal gambling stuff? And you're still picking up checks from the NBA as a coach. Like you said, Terry Rozier is making, we talked about Terry Rozier making the kind of money that he's making on top of what he's making this year. Like, I mean, what the hell y'all trying to buy? Some land or something? Like, it's not registering to me when there's so much money that they've already made, or, however they've invested their money. Now, I get it. Like, you probably have lived above your means, right? You know what I'm saying? You done made this kind of money, but I mean, what are you buying? $10 million cars once a week? Or are you buying a $20 million house every 12 months? You know what I mean? So, from the little bit of time that I've experienced as a professional, my mentor told me to not live above your means, right? So leaving college, I remember he said, yeah, okay, we're going to have a little nice place to stay, get you a nice car. But it's not going to be any different than being in college, right? You don't need to just change your livelihood because you're a professional. And I said with these athletes as well, like, and I wasn't making nothing near to what these guys are making. You know what I mean? You talk about 100 million, 160 million. Like, if done correctly with that kind of money, these guys are set for life. Their kids, grandkids are set for life. So to me, I want to continue like doing more research, try to figure out what exactly is it, because it's not registering, man. Like, for somebody to make all this type of money, man, I'm looking at, like, we talked about FanDuel before. Remember, we talked about it years back when we talked about playing $25 or $100. I've told you sometimes about playing a little bit more than that. That's nothing compared to somebody making a total of $106 million. So like, make it make sense. You know what I mean? Now that does mean you have terrible habits of spending. A lot of different things that you can get about for those that haven't watched it. Did you watch that 30 for 30 called Broke?
Yep.
Yeah, so for those that's watching, if you have not seen that show or that documentary on 30 for 30 called Broke, go watch it. Because now I can see somebody with 106 million and kind of can understand, I kind of can see, not understand completely, but see how they would run out of money, right? So, but again, back to like I said, that was probably off topic a little bit. I just do not get it, man. I mean, maybe because I've never seen 106 million in my life, 160 million, but I've never seen six figures before. I just don't see a person career-wise making 9 figures and they're trying to like make illegal money. They're trying to gamble illegally. Like, it's different ways, you know what I'm saying, that you get if you want to. We see I'm pretty sure Floyd Mayweather does it all the time. He's always putting a slip in, or you know what I'm saying, he's gambling a little bit of money here and the money there. He might flip a little 20 grand and make it 6, whatever he do. He does it, but it's on a legal type stuff. These guys, man, I don't understand. And I see that you're playing with fire too, because they know who you are when you're gambling with Mafia, these different people. They know, you know what I'm saying, your history. Just like I literally just looked up their career earnings, they can do the same thing, right? And they probably have a little bit more connection to you and your family because you're doing these behind backdoor gambling, all this stuff. So it's just, to me, it's very risky, and it's not safe. So to me, like I said, my whole thought process, first thing I think is I don't understand, man. Like, I know there's no such thing as enough money, but damn, 106 million, 160. Y'all sound like y'all reaching for money. You gambling like you living like you don't have as much money as I do. Like, so it just makes me scratch my head, man, to be honest. Especially people that are still collecting checks right now. I mean, I don't know. I think if the NBA pays once a week or every 2 weeks, they're still getting a check.
Mm-hmm.
So make it make sense is what I'm trying to say. Like, and I cannot. Dude, I'm just looking at it, man. It doesn't make sense to me, man, at all. Let me see if I can find his contract with the Trailblazers. Yeah, so it just, to me, like I said, man, I don't get it. It's something that just makes me scratch my head.
When I first initially heard it, saw this and all that stuff, I thought, like, I saw the names. I was like, Rozier, okay, we heard about his name, stuff like that, and for the past couple of years. And we'll just kind of go back a little bit. This investigation has been going on for the past several years. We put that out to everybody. This investigation, the gambling, stuff like that, the insider trading, all that stuff, this has been going on for several years. All right? So it ain't just happened this last year or so. This has been going for the past few years for those that are trying to get caught to speed. This ain't nothing that just dropped, boom, out of the hat. It's been going on for the past a few years. We saw what happened to Jonte Porter, formerly of the Raptors. Now I think he's still in prison right now for his shaving and all that stuff. So this ain't at the blue. This ain't nothing like that. This has been going on for a little while. Having said that, when I saw Chauncey's name, we talked this before the show. I said, this can't be Chauncey Billups.
Mm-hmm.
I just like some other people said, like Chauncey, you got to say something, man, because like you seen 2 straight lays to be caught up in something like this. You're like, I thought before we talked the show, I talked about the ESPN article that I read years ago, how his background, all that stuff, bouncing around. And my thing about Chauncey is, like, this is a guy that bounced around the league early in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that he's damn near out the league. Talking about Boston, Raptors, the first stint in Denver. I could be missing a team in there. Let me pull that up. Hold on a second. Yeah, Raptors, Nuggets. And then, he gets to the Timberwolves. That's where he kind of figured things out. Then he went to Detroit. That's where he, basically formulated his Hall of Fame career there, winning the championship, all that stuff. But it's just like Chauncey Billups. And then his stuff is kind of separate from what Rozier and Jones did in a sense. He was linked up with the mob. And we talked about before the show, like, and you brought up the career earnings on and stuff. Like, how do you make all this money in the NBA? Then you're doing like TV and stuff like that. Now you got the head coach. Now you're the head coach of the NBA team. How do you get linked up with the mob?
Mm-hmm.
In the year 2025.
Don't make sense, man.
Why are we still allowing the mob trying to dictate lies and stuff like that? That's my thing. Like, damn. How so let the mob? How let the mob so get in y'all's lives and stuff like that and kind of fuck y'all over? Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's so funny? We talked about this about Malik Beasley not too long ago, and Yeah, all the money he made, but look how much shit he got going on in his life. How much money he owed, despite making all these money, millions of dollars, stuff like that, behind on his rent, owe money on like dentist work and stuff like that. And you just get behind the curtain, it's like you really don't know. Besides all this money these guys make, you really don't know what's really going on with them. But with like some of these guys, like Rozier and Bills, for example, like damn, y'all been making like a lot of money to be caught up in some bull crap. And it's a bad look. We should be talking about, about scores around the league and stuff like that, how these guys are playing, but we talking about this.
Yeah.
And before I move forward, I'm gonna read the names that were caught up in this. Because everybody's making a big deal of Chauncey and Damon Jones and Terry Rozier. But there's a lot of names in this. I'll read them out down to you. The affidavit I saw. Ernest Alnalo. I got the names right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Give me just a second. Nelson Alvarez, also known as Spanish G. Louis Acapella, also known as Lou App. Amar Aldwell, also known as Flapper Poker and Flappy. Saul Becher, Chauncey Billups. Matthew Danino, also known as Matty and the Wrestler. Eric Ernest, also known as Spook. Lee Fama, John Gallo, Marco Garzon. Let's see where I'm at, Marco. Thomas Gallardo, also known as Juice. Jamie Gillette, Tony Goodson, also known as Black Tony. I would like to see some of these mug shots.
Yes.
Kenny Hahn. So you got Asian folks involved in this. Shane Hennon, also known as Sugar. Osman Hadi, also known as the Albanian Bruce and Big Bruce. And for some of y'all don't know about the mob and stuff like that, they're telling you about that. They've been outsourcing some of that heavy stuff to the Albanians and stuff like that. If y'all don't know about that, they've been outsourcing that stuff, like heavy stuff, like breaking kneecaps, all that type of stuff, to the Albanians over the years. Just want to throw that out there. Turio Hu, also known as H. Zin Hu, also known as Jonathan Chan. Damon Jones, also known as D. Jones. Joseph Lonnie. John Mazzalo, also known as John South. Curtis Meeks, also known as Kurt. Nicholas Nucci. Michael Roselli. Angelo Rio Jr. And if y'all don't know that name, I think his dad was like his dad was Angelo Riggio Sr., who's kind of leaked in on those bomb bosses back in the day. So his son still in the business. But y'all look that up. His dad's like clicked in on the big monsters back in the day. All that stuff. John Gotti, all those type of folks. His dad was clicked in with them. Yeah, this is deep. Anthony Shanderman, also known as Doc. Robert Stroud, also known as Black Rob. Seth Trustman, Sophia Wee, also known as Pookie. And Julius Zonlani, also known as Jay. So I read all those names out, D-Lock, just because everybody's so fixated on the NBA players. I had to read those names out because that's all who's involved in this indictment by the FBI. And if you look at the bigger scope and kind of give you background on a couple of these other folks, that's what we're doing with here. That's what we're doing with here.
Yeah.
You know? The charges involve mafia-backed gaming rings, rigged poker games, and sports betting manipulation totaling tens of millions of dollars. The league has placed Billups and Rozier on leave pending further investigation, according to USA Today. Commissioner Adam Silver is calling for stricter government regulation of sports betting. And by the way, Adam Silver is going to be calling to Congress here, I think, here in a few days, which is kind of funny. They got time for this, but not for the government shutdown, trying to get that resolved. But anyways, stricter government regulation of sports betting, despite the league's longstanding support for legalized gambling. So Adam Silver kind of shooting himself in the foot. And the NBA previously banned Jonte Porter, which we discussed already as well. This is what Billups did, D-Locke. Him and David Jones were kind of like the high-profile names that the Mafia had tabbed to get into these illegal poker games and get the marks in a sense. Billups is accused of participating in rigged poker games that use high-tech cheating methods, include marked cards and modified shuffling machines. The operation reportedly defrauded players over $1 million in a single night, with one victim claiming that they were lured into the game by the former NBA player acting as a front man. So let's stop there for right now. Your thoughts on that, hearing that, your thoughts on that part so far and the names I read out.
I mean, to me, like I said, I'm also looking at it as well as a lot of these names and different ways they're trying to find a way to cheat gambling. I guess one of the questions that I would want to know is, like, you know, how much money are we talking about? I mean, what is actually put on the table? I'm looking at it. The defendants in the court, the conspirators bet accordingly to ensure that the unsuspecting victims lost money. Through rigged poker schemes, the defendants caused losses to victims of at least $7 million. So, you know, these names that we talking about, you know, these ain't people that got, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bank. These guys got to have money from all over the place. Especially if you putting $7 million out there. Now, again, I guess, like I said, it's just something to where they, you know, you're talking about Terry Rozier making 160, Billups making whatever he's making. Are these guys putting in money like 15, 20 million on the table? Is this the risk that they taking? You know what I mean? Are they, like I said, are they just putting so much into it that they're trying to find a way to, you know, like you said, using a shuffling machine, shuffle cards, just different illegal stuff to flip their money and take money from other people? So we're hearing 7 million, but I think with these other guys, obviously some of these other people that hit gambling, they're probably having people lose 15, 20 million. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of these guys find out it's illegal. You know, people get hurt real bad for doing some stuff like this. That's why I said I'm hearing the mafia thing. I've seen plenty of shows and different things talk about, you know, mafia things and stuff like that. But this is serious business too. You know what I mean? So to me, it makes me question, you know, obviously this has to be a lot of money involved, man. I mean, it's a lot of money being tossed around and basically getting stolen from somebody else. And that's where this stuff has, like I said, it has to be drawn a line to. But again, like I said, Chauncey Billups being the coach. Damn, wait, you got all this extra time on your hands to be doing all this stuff? Terry Rozier, same thing.
And it's just like, it's like, how, one thing, when I don't know when they get to trial or whatever, one thing I would like to know, how did they draw you in?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question. It's like, how in the year 2025 y'all let the Mafia still draw you in to do stuff like this? You know, we ain't talking about like 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, where Mafia has still like strangleholds and stuff like that behind the scenes, and you know, like in the world of sports and whatever, entertainment, all that good stuff, Hollywood, all that. They don't got that kind of pull like that anymore. A lot of them been neutered. But I think, you know, as we've seen with sports gambling and stuff like that, you always going to have an easy mark. Like, I remember years ago, I saw on the internet on Twitter, like this dude put his rent when Mayweather fought Conor McGregor in that Shamrock fight. When Mayweather won, this dude flipped out at wherever restaurant he at, and said he put his whole rent on McGregor to beat Mayweather, and he lost. You always gonna find easy marks like that because you're gonna put yourself in a hole like that. And now I'm looking at charges for Chauncey, for example. He said he's facing charges of wire fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering conspiracy. And then, you know, I read stuff about the glasses and stuff like that. I think Chauncey and Damon Jones were this front men for these rings. I don't think they were the masterminds. I could be wrong, but once you hear Mafia, mob, wherever you want to dub it, it's like y'all front men. And it sucks that y'all, some reason y'all got caught in this just because. And once you in the Mafia, you can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could do a couple things for them and you think you out the way and clear. No, baby, they got you for life.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a young person out here watching this or catch this, whatever, stay clean. If you don't know somebody, come up trying to propose something to you and all that stuff, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't think about it. It's tempting. I know they're trying to push gambling stuff in the face here, blah, 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 everywhere. But don't do it. Because hell, look who we talking about here today. Guys that make millions of dollars playing the league and coaching, and they still cop a mess like this. So if you're a young person right here, do not save your money. Do what you have to do. If you try and make it big in sports, wherever it's NBA, track and field, baseball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever, don't get caught in nothing like this. It ain't worth it. And you get perp walked and be embarrassed for the rest of your life.
I mean, I think the biggest thing too is like, you know, I remember, I think I seen an interview, Mark Cuban saying that, you know, he has so much money that he can literally get anything he wants. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to experience that. Doesn't matter where they come from. They know what it feels like to be able to live comfortable and then some more than comfortable. So I understand that part of want to, you know, like make money and be comfortable at living, but some things is just overly risky. And a lot of times again, this is the problem that I said. It just doesn't make sense to me. Making 106 million, doing what you're doing, like there's just certain limitations that you don't need to really cross. Making that. That doesn't mean that a person making less is okay. It's just in my mind, I'm thinking, what, this is, they're that top 2 or 3% in the world of the money that they make. So, we talk about, talking a person off the ledge of doing illegal gambling that work at McDonald's. That's, what I'm saying, a little more like, okay, yeah, I understand your living lifestyle. Like, we got to figure out different ways to make money, but this is not the way to go. These people already got their money.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if it's tough me talking to a person off a ledge that ain't not making nothing, what the hell is it to a person that's making 160 million? At this point, it's like, what am I gonna tell you? What can I tell you? Hey, I don't think you should be doing this because you can find different ways to make money. But the person's already they're already living super comfortable, and so their family and their kids. So that's why, like, to me, I'm kind of lost. Like, now granted, so we'll talk about obviously NCAA making it passing it be okay for coaches and athletes to gamble on pro sports. But here, this is something that they're taking, illegal different ways to cheat the system, and they're stealing money from people. So that, like I said, that's why the FBI is getting involved, just because of how it's going. And it is, to me, for both of these guys, hell, you are a coach for the Trailblazers, and the bet is Portland loses by 2 points. He fuck around and try to find a way for it to be more or less, depending on what he bets or who has money on what. Terry Rozier, has a parlay in that says he don't need to make. He needs to make at least 12 points, and it's a huge plus. He takes the under. He could take the under and act like he's hurt. You know what I mean? So it's just different ways that this kind of spins. And to be honest, those are just the big names that was called out. We've seen numerous names being called out over the past couple of years with this. So this is why you hear a lot of people, that do gamble, that do, heavily gamble, get involved, or even just watching sports in general. They say, "Oh, it's rigged," because there's people that are involved with, the over-unders and spreads, little stuff like, oh, well, the Cowboys need to lose by less than 3 points. And even though they're getting blew out by 14, they still out there trying to score some points to hit that spread, which is insane. But there's a reason about some of this stuff, man. So it's like I said, it's very, to me, I think the concerning part is we are talking about athletes that have money that was set up their great grandkids, and they're still, you know what I mean, like, still taking huge risks, man. So like I said, to me, it definitely makes me scratch my head.
I know we can go deeper into this, but we'll just put a bow on this, and probably more coming out about this. But I saw a clip on YouTube. Jake Tapper interviewed this former, I guess, mafia guy that used to like run illegal poker and stuff like that. And he was showing Jake Tapper all the methods they used to cheat folks and stuff like that. Like he showed it like this little microphone, like this, about small, like a small battery in a sense, and you just put it in your ear, like deep into your ear, and you really can't see nothing, all that stuff. Like I got my headphones right here, my Beats right here. I put it on, you can hear me. I mean, you can see it plain as day. But this little headphone that this guy had that used to cheat, he put deep in your ear, you can't see nothing. So you can communicate with who you communicating with and see who got what and all that stuff. And then they got like another machine, like, and you can read like who's gonna win the hand and stuff like that. And it's like all blatant and stuff like that. Y'all can find a clip on CNN. Jake Tapper, he did an interview, like, damn, this is way deep. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was just so look at the headlines. Oh, NBA coach, current NBA player, former player. In the headlines, no. This is deep. This is deep.
Yep.
And, you brought up what Terry Rozier did, stuff like that. What he did is like, just, play a little bit and then take himself out with a foot injury. And then next thing you know, everybody putting big bets on him and stuff like that. And then it'll be alert to these companies like, oh, wow, a lot of activity going on for Terry Rozier right now.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. So it's real heavy. The Mafia family's involved. The Gambino family. Probably heard that name before. The Banano family. The Lucis family. The Gino Vest family. Those families are involved. So I always kind of bring up those family names, the names I read up in the indictment, because it's bigger than these players. The Mafia and mob has been involved in stuff like this for decades. And you know what's the real messed up part about it? When these guys get indicted and stuff like that, or they start to go to trial, next thing you know, you look up, like, damn, it's a mistrial. Oh, did one of the Mafia guys get to somebody in the juror's family, something like that, to cause mistrial? Stuff like that happens with these folks that always get caught up in stuff like this, and they get to walk free. So my thing is, for the bonus, and we'll get to the NCAA thing, it's like, I don't want to see Chauncey, Terry, and Damon Jones go down for years while these Mafia folks get off easy.
Mm-hmm.
Or mistrial, whatever, for whatever reason. Because somebody in the jury gets spooked by, they have their daughter kidnapped, something like that. I hate to say it like that, but it's like, we got to be real about these things.
Yeah.
Like, if they did the thing, they did the thing. I ain't trying to let them get off easy. But don't make them the face, of everything, while these other folks get beyond the radar, and, Cash Patel, skinning and grinning, like, thinking he did something great. No, if everybody's going to get indicted long, put all the asses in prison.
Yep.
Don't let these three black individuals, let's keep it real, take the fall for the rest of these folks.
Everybody deserves the same thing.
Everybody deserves the same thing. If they're all in it together, damn it, they're all going to burn together. And that's how it should be. But I'll just have last word on this.
I mean, I think that I agree with you with that part. I mean, to me, man, I'm still on that. What are they getting out of it? And like you said, maybe they did something that they can't get out of at this point. This is not something that just happened. Chauncey Billups just got in, 6 months ago, or this is probably something he's already been involved in for some time. And on top of that, I think that now that it's a lot of money that's involved with this as well. So to me, hearing the Mafia, man, that's something that's playing with fire, like I said. So hopefully, like I said, they do their due diligence. And this FBI do that, get all the information they need, and like I said, everybody get the same consequences. This is not something that it'll be highlighted because of Chauncey Billups, we know Rozier and Damon Jones, but I think everybody should get the same results. And
a couple of things. I know LeBron thing got brought up. I don't say this. One thing LeBron's good at is, like, if something like this happened around him and his thing get popped up, he damn sure gonna make it seem like he wasn't involved in nothing. And Damon Jones, if you haven't seen this clip or you probably seen other people talk about this, you're a ghost to LeBron now. Like, you're a ghost to LeBron now.
So stay away.
Like, if LeBron get asked by Damon Jones, like, oh, Damon who? And one more thing too, and Brian Franchione brought up this, our Boston insider. As a Celtics fan, it makes sense why Terry went 0 for 10 in Game 7 in 2018 Eastern Conference Finals. LOL. And it's stuff like this. People bring up stuff like this. But damn, that kind of makes sense. Or, or you put the conspiracy hats on, like, oh, okay. But this like this second time that the league it's been rocked hard by a gambling scandal. The bigger one, in my opinion, I think this is more mafia and stuff like that. But the bigger one was the Tim Donaghy and all that stuff. That I think that is still the biggest one. And then you see like news circulating about Rasheed Wallace, what he said about the refs and stuff like that. That interview that happened a couple years ago, that's been circulating around again. So the NBA, Adam Silver, Mark Tatum, those guys, they got a lot of questions to ask for. Adam Silver, let throw in about the gambling and stuff like that. A lot of questions to ask for. You got these teams on FanDuel TV and stuff like that. ESPN, Mike Greenberg trying to be this war authority. We need to do something about this. Excuse me. About this, blah, 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 blah. While the ESPN bet logos right there, right saying on this BS. Like this, like in the words of Nino Brown, this is bigger than me. If y'all watching that shit, y'all know what I'm talking about. This is bigger than me. We don't know how deep this rabbit hole is going to go.
Yeah.
And not just in the NBA. Hell, look at baseball. Shohei and Tommy, for example. His damn manager is still in millions for him to cover his shit. And we talking like a lot. Like these damn college football buyouts. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break real quick. On the other side of things, D-Lock, I want to get your thoughts on the NCAA allowing bets on pro sports. Your thoughts on that, and then we'll talk about some scores around the league before we get out of here. But this is Fast Break here for iSports Radio. You're read for all sports, and we'll catch you on the other side.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back here for Fast Break here for iSports Radio, your Greek Forward Sports. As you see on the ticker below, do follow iSports Radio on all your social media feeds, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Do follow us on all those social media platforms. And do also please catch the playback on this show, because this is a real heavy show. We dig as deep as we could. Because if we could just stay on this subject, we could just wait 2-3 hours. But we ain't gonna do that. D-Locke, only look at the for on this. The NCAA allowing athletes and coaches. Let me get the words in here real quick. You said this to me the other day to bet on pro sports and stuff like that. And I was like, I said to you, like, are you back in the saddle to go back to FanDuel and stuff like that? But you say you're going to kind of wait and see, get the words in here, to wait and see how things play out. Let me finish it. To see how things play out.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on the ruling as coach now within the NCAA and as an athlete as well? Your thoughts on the ruling by the NCAA?
Well, I think that now I'll start as a think about it on the athletic side. You a lot of times, it's a little different, obviously, when I was in school. But you have full scholarship kids that did get Pell Grant, those little A's that pay for, where you stay at and have your pocket money, go grab something to eat, those type of things. But you've always, as we see now, always wanted more money.
Mm-hmm.
So, pro sports was something that you obviously all looked at, you watched, and now you're giving a chance for athletes to be able to gamble on it. To be honest, I'm actually okay with the rule. The reason why is because they're gonna do it anyway. You're not stopping a kid from doing that. I can't tell you how many times I've seen and had conversations with, as an athlete, kids talking about, or former teammates of mine talking about, their parents is asking them about, who to pick on this sport or that sport or this, that, or the third, or they're using this person's profile, that person's profile. It's just so many different things that they're able to do. You know what I mean? And they're trying to get around. I think this rule right here is something that you had already knew was going to get broken. These athletes were going to have their accounts. They're going to find ways to, put a gamble in. They got friends or whatever. Now, I think the biggest thing with that is you already got the NIL stuff going on. These kids are making a lot of money. Where are they putting this money at? They're probably making a hell of a lot more money than some of their parents. You know what I mean? So a lot of this time, they're not only good where at their school paying their bills, but now they got extra money. They're putting it in to help others. So, like I said, I'm really not bothered by the decision. I think it's actually kind of agree with it because, again, it's something that was going to be done regardless. The biggest thing is when we first talked about NIL deals and different things, we're talking about giving an 18-year-old millions of dollars. What are they going to do with that millions of dollars? Now, the con of this is now you're literally opening the door to a 18-year-old spending the money not smart. Now you're opening that door. You're making that an option. Right now it's like, well, damn, okay, we're giving you $10 million or whatever to be on this football team. Yeah, you're going to go get you a nice Porsche or all this other stuff. You're already spending it crazy. But now what you're going to do is you're going to try to gamble to make some of that money back that you spent. So it's a lot of stuff that goes with it on the con side. I think, man, to be honest, I think the biggest thing that athletes need is a person to point them in the right direction. A mentor, a coach, a parent. As much money as they see, they still need to see that there needs to be somebody in their life that's going to make a difference in how they move in their life. I think one of the biggest things I had was my parents, but also my mentor. Like I said, my mentor let me know, hey, listen, now that you're a professional, or this is how you should move as an adult. So I think he made a huge impact in my life. But for those that don't have that, this could be something that could impact them in a negative way. Because like I said, if you have somebody that literally is looking at $10 million or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they like, well, damn, I got all this money. I need this. It's gonna burn a hole in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that a lot of athletes and the young adults do. Hell, even older adults still do the same thing. So for me, I think that on the student athlete side, I think it had to be done because at this point you already got the NCAA transfer portal, so they can get up and leave whenever they want. You got the NIL deal, so now you already give them all kind of money. Hearing recently that what's going to happen with kids that are on full scholarship, they're not going to get Pell Grant. And that's something that's new that's starting to come out. So now that you got all this stuff that's really coming out and money based, they had to give something, right? And this is something that probably played a part in that. So to me, I think it probably was a wise move because, I mean, if you do enough research, at any university, there's probably a lot of kids already gambling anyway. So now you kind of make it open. Now, like I said, I think it's just our responsibility as coaches, mentors, to show them the right way to go with it. Now, I will say that to move on to coaching, the coaches, the staff being able to gamble on pro sports. I think this is a right decision because it's not still based on. Now, if they just said that you can bet on college too, that's a huge red flag. Huge. Because us as coaches know how the athletes are looking throughout practice, how their week's going, how things are going. We can dictate what's happening headed into a huge SEC game. We already know what practice looks like that week. We already know if this person is banged up. We already know who we're going to replace this person with. We already know how the matchup looks against this team. Those things, I think, is unfair. So it being professional, I have no problem with that either. I just think now, again, that's another level up of adults that have a bigger salary than sometimes even some of these student athletes. Now you got to still be able to manage your money either way. So to me, I think it's a fair thing for both college coaches as well. My biggest thing, the reason why I said I'll have to watch and see, because there are obviously, we know, websites and accounts like FanDuel. There's not just pro sports, there's also college, right? There's different things that you can bet on. So to me, my first thought process is, well, how do you know if this athlete or this coach is betting strictly on professional sports? You have to go on their account and see, well, hey, okay, I'm looking at their account, and the only thing I see that they're betting on is the Bucks playing against the Titans.
Yeah.
So you have to literally, and that's my question, how do they determine that? Where's these stimulations? Like, where is it going to be like, well, this is how we know that you're not doing college? Because you can walk into a casino and you could put a slip in and put 10 NFL games and then put at the bottom Bama blowing out Alabama State. So how do you see what I'm saying? How do you dictate if that's legal, or how do you know? So to me, I think it's more that needs to be talked about. They need to have more details to it, which is a question. Like I said, even I got on a call, a compliance call Thursday, about it, and our compliance guy explained, hey, NCAA is going to make it official for college coaches and athletes to be able to gamble starting November 1st. The rules too, they cannot bet on college sports, but just professional sports. So, which I get that. But even prior to that, the rule was you couldn't bet on sports that the NCAA covers. So wrestling, tennis, soccer, all those sports, college had. So how do they dictate this? Do they say, well, yeah, you can bet on sports. You can bet on any professional sports as long as NCAA doesn't cover it. Okay, well now that means you still can't bet on basketball because basketball is still a college sport and it's a pro sport. So where are these stimulations? There's more details that need to be discussed and talked about. So to me, I don't think it's a terrible thing because it's already being done everywhere. Now I just think you got to be wise. I'm not trying to. I don't want to be that coach that is sleeping in my office because I can't pay my rent because I'm gambling every couple of days, or I don't want to see an athlete starving because they're putting all their money into the slips. So it's just about limiting yourself when they come to it. So again, it's a big win for students and coaches because now it's professional, but it's still not college. So that's where they kind of draw that line. Because again, if I work at University of Pittsburgh and I know that our running back is kind of banged up and they're playing against Florida State, and if that I know that information, that's clearly something that I can say, well, hey, I don't think this person is going to run for over 100 yards. Because I've heard he's at, he's nicked up at practice. So they wanted to make sure that you could not do that. So that's what that's why I understand. Hey, they said, listen, yes, you can do college, professional sports. Cool. Y'all have no, you don't have no say so as a college coach about professional sports. So go right ahead. You student athletes, you guys are in college. So go right ahead and talk about professional sports, NFL, whatever. But you're not going to do college sports because the basketball player that's at Pittsburgh, I'm not going to allow you. I'll let you to bet on Victor getting 12 boards and 6 blocks, but I'm not going to let you bet on your teammate getting under 10 blocks because you know something that we don't. So that's the thing behind it. But again, I'm not surprised, man. I mean, the NCAA is changing, man. Every couple of days, it's definitely changing.
I'll just say something quick here. I'm kind of curious, like you brought up about the kids, and coaches, they go overboard. They're like, next thing you know, you're looking up, they in debt, stuff like that. You using the NIL money, to do these bets and stuff like that. And next thing you know, you seeing so-and-so sleeping in their car by the practice facility.
Mm-hmm.
And then you being up in Pittsburgh, you seeing so-so in the car, like, damn, it's like 20 degrees outside. What you doing?
Yep.
Yes. stuff like that. I kind of like worry about with these young adults. Like we see in the basketball, like the Wolford players getting caught in that betting scandal and stuff like that. So you kind of think like, damn, you let these guys and gals get money. Cool, fine. Now you kind of letting them spread their wings a little bit and do other things with some money they earn at school. I'm just kind of like, I'm not too sure about that. And then more coaching and stuff like that. Can you be smart about it?
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. Can you be smart about it? I don't want like hear stories like we talked about the first segment about the mob and all that stuff. Next thing you know, they ain't so in debt. They linking up with Black Rob, trying to get the stuff out of debt.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So that's the thing I kind of worry about. It's like, damn, I hope these kids don't get caught up in something they can't get out of forever. So I hope these schools and institutions, especially what has happened with the NBA, talk to them, make sure you are just doing pro bets, and like you mentioned, not like if you go to Vegas to casinos, okay, do all these bets in the NBA and NFL. Next thing you know, it's like, okay, Alabama State going dog walk Alabama A&M.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stuff like that. So, you know, just got play smart, play cool, and then, you know, just don't get caught up too much in it. Like, let me show y'all something right here, ladies and gentlemen. I got my FanDuel lineup right here. I got my lineup right here. Now, I'll probably lose out on this lineup right here because Anthony Edwards went out with a hamstring injury. But this is the bets I do. Don't cost too much, ain't the back-breaking type of deal. These are the bets I do. Now, for some of our folks, they make bigger bets on different odds, like Victor Wembanyama, who's been kicking ass right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the odds, you can play good odds on him to then after a triple-double every game. But I think, like, we're talking about Dante Porter, Terry Rozier, hopefully you don't get caught up in something like that. That's the main thing these kids got to be aware of. If they use their money to bet and they get caught up with somebody else to say, hey, man, you put this money on so-and-so player, you know, you make a nice tuck of change, you know?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you caught up like Chauncey Billups and David Jones and Terry Rozier, caught up with folks you should be caught up with. And now you're looking at pen time. But I'll let you have last word.
I mean, again, and this is one thing that we also got to remember. There are players that leave for the NFL, leave for the NBA early. You got players that come back to their alma mater, you know, from time to time, or they're still connected to some of their, you know, players or teammates at their alma mater. So they still can talk to those connections, you know, and that is something that plays a part. Hey, you know, I know you playing with the Minnesota Vikings now. Like, how JJ McCarthy looking, or how's the game plan looking for you this week? You know, those type of conversations is still out there. But again, it's just, I think the NCAA they opened the floodgates when they started with name, image, and likeness. When they started that, everything else went out the window. They started that, and the transfer portal came around, which to me, I'm not that old school, but I still question why in the hell does a former LSU player transfer to Florida? How in the hell does a Florida player transfer to Georgia? But these gates have been opened. So now that you've opened all this stuff, you're cleaning it up for the NCAA and for these athletes. So they're making it an even level to a playing field. And now what's going to happen is you're going to have these players, these athletes, talking about it at practice. This is going to be a regular conversation at practice. They're going to be talking about practice, how things are going. Well, yeah, I just put this bet in for such and such, and this is what I made. These numbers, this stuff could be talked about now. This is going to be a wide open conversation. And like you said, as far as FanDuel, remember I talked about it with you years back when I was on there. How you got a $5 lineup, single entry. You have a $1 single entry. You have I think I told you about the 222 single entry, the 100, the 50, the 75. So these kids, the athletes, coaches as well, they're not just betting $1. All of them ain't betting just 50 cents or $1 or $5. Some of them are putting their hard-earned cash money up in there. Now, hopefully, some of them realize that after losing maybe once or twice, okay, I'm out. That's one of the rules I learned a long time ago. I never forget. I played one time and lost so much. I was like, yeah, I can't put that much back in here. That's insane. Because once it's gone, it's gone. It's not coming back. So for me, I think that it's going to be very interesting in how this play out, man. But I'm telling you right now, November 1st come around, it's definitely going to open. It's opening a can of worms, good and bad. I just think now they had to. NCAA is starting to, like I said, it's changing, man. Every couple days, every couple weeks, there's something, and it's like, dang, like okay, it's to the point. Like I said, you got some of these athletes making more money than the coaches.
Mm. And I'll say it like this, it's just like I said, like you mentioned about the bets and stuff like that. Hopefully, you don't get too knee deep on it, and also, it's like it don't take like one good bet if you lose to kind of turn things around, but then you still want to chase that high on that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like for these college athletes, I hope they recognize like, okay, I'm making decent money, all this stuff. I got good facilities I work out of, depending where you're at. All right. I shouldn't blow my load, try and make a good bet on Zion Williamson, for example. You know what I'm saying? So I hope these guys and gals play it smart. Just use caution, and that's all I really got to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know what these athletes spend their money on now, on like food and all this stuff. But you can't be going out to damn Red Lobster, Roof Chris, or something like that, twice a week, and then turn around, lose all your money, and you buying Vienna sausages and ramen noodles.
Ramen noodles, yep.
Or buying Lunchables for $1 at Walmart. So I think if you're athletes, stuff like that, you gotta think about stuff like that. Like, okay, I've been eating good at Roof Chris, but now I got it back here on this stuff. There's something to think about.
Go back to them Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets, Uncrustables, something.
Yep.
Before I get out here, D-Lock, I do want to talk about, and you brought it up too, Victor Wembanyama and his hot start. The Spurs won today. They are 3-0. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 118-107. Shout out to Cam Thomas, who had 40 points, by the way. Victor Wembanyama had 31 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 blocks. 3 for 6 for three-point land, 10 for 15 for the free throw line for the Spurs. I know we had different players win the MVP this year, and the season is still young. Your thoughts on his hot and early start and 3-0 start for the San Antonio Spurs?
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this to everybody, including you, Davis, because I see you got you lined up. If anybody plays FanDuel or any kind of gambling or lineup, fantasy lineup, make sure you have Victor. Because right now, he is on a tear. The stuff that he's doing is MVP-like. Simple. And this is, I mean, we've been watching clearly, it's the first NBA week. And we're watching games, but I literally watched him. What game I think that was against? I was first game against Dallas. Dude, that's against Anthony Davis. One of the person that's has been up for Defensive Player of the Year. And he had 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks. So I think the Spurs are a team that we got to watch out for. I think I had them, if I'm not mistaken, I did have them as one of them teams, that young teams that was up and coming, that was going to make these moves. He's leading that charge, man. I mean, obviously very early, only 3 games in. My biggest thing is, can he stay healthy? And how do they continue to keep him healthy and keep him on that? They got a lot of, we know how the Spurs are. They got so many people over there. I think Castle has actually started out pretty hot as well. He's actually trying to get there. Now, the biggest thing is when they get De'Aaron Fox back.
Yes.
That's gonna play a huge part. Hell, I think Dylan Harper just had a hell of a game today as well. So to me, I think that this Spurs team is one to watch out for, and Victor is the main reason for it. I mean, he's doing everything for this. I mean, he's averaging about 5-6 blocks a game. So hell, even seeing him next to Anthony Davis, he make Anthony Davis look like a child. Anthony Davis is 6'11", 7 foot. So for me, how long could he keep this hot streak up? Again, for me, like I said, what was most I had already thought in my mind that he was going to go on that hot streak after the first game. I mean, that's Anthony Davis. We know he gives anybody problems. So for him to have that type of game, and he looked he's very athletic. This is what people thought they seen in Bol when he first came to the league. This is what they thought they seen. This right here. And we're seeing it from Victor. So for me, I mean, it's early. I got him as a top MVP candidate right now.
I think real quick for me, I think Victor. I think we both had the Spurs pay for the playoffs, and all kind of dependent like on the growth of him and some of the other young guys. But like you mentioned, like the past couple of years, I mean, he's been playing fine, but the injuries just creep up around the worst time for him in the team. And I think, if he can stay healthy, keep things rolling, play smart, that's the main thing. Sapo, like, against Anthony Davis, he's sitting there, crossing him up and shooting fadeaways on Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff he's been doing. Yeah, Zion might get a dunk on him and stuff like that. He'll shake that off and get back at you and try to dunk on you and score with you or something. So, I mean, his hot start is phenomenal. Coach Johnson seemed like since he fully got the full job now, he really lay into his matches with his team. With them playing hard, playing tough, having that killer instinct, with these guys. So, that 3-0 right now, 31 points for him. Trying to see who they play next. Trying to look.
They got them tomorrow.
Oh, they play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they play the Raptors tomorrow. So the Raptors, who's been, I mean, they've been all right. In a sense, I mean, they've been all right. Trying to look up their schedule real quick. They're losing to Dallas right now. Let me pull that game up. They're losing to Dallas down 109-93. Scotty Barnes, 27 points right now, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Brandon Ingram, 15 points right now. Emmanuel Quickly, 14 points for him. Grady Dick, who I got in one of my lineups, only got managed 10 minutes and 1 rebound. What a waste.
Anthony Davis must be having a good game.
Yeah, Anthony Davis has having a good game. 24 points, 11-13 from the field, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks for him. Cooper Flagg, who they trying to run as a point guard right now, has 19 points and 4 assists. So, but having said all that, the way the Raptors been playing and really had no real threat low post, and a lot of guys that can swing. I mean, they can guard them, but it's like they can't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
And the way things are going right now, I don't think nobody can stop him. Like sometimes we kind of wonder about if Giannis had like a true jump shot, how would he look? And he developed that pretty nicely, but it ain't like nothing that you can be scared of. Now with Victor Wembanyama, who can hit on the ball, jump shot, all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
can cross you up like damn Iverson in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at him against Anthony Davis, man, like the stuff that he was doing, ooh, to be that damn tall doing like that.
I know Anthony Davis mad. I know, like he had to be heated.
But there's nothing he can do. I mean, like, and you can't touch him because all he's gonna do, he was making and one like it was nothing. Like you said, crossing over like AI, he about 7'6", doing phase, like then he come back and get 8 blocks. Like, I mean, boy, but again, he stay healthy. I think if he stay healthy, that's a team to watch out for. And mess around, get De'Aaron Fox back with that core they already got. The West just got a lot tougher.
A lot tougher and a lot deeper on that front. Going to other scores around the league real quick. The Lakers are up 33-27 against Sacramento Kings. Luka's out for a week due to a finger injury, so we'll see how that goes for the Lakers, who's already out with LeBron. The Heat beat the Knicks 115-107 today. The Minnesota Timberwolves, despite Anthony Edwards leaving early, are up on the Indiana Pacers 112-108. We talk about the Mavs being up on the Raptors right now. The Clippers up 32-23 on the Portland Trailblazers, who got Thiago Splitter as the interim coach. So we'll see how that works out for them. Early today, the Cavs beat the Bucks 118-113. The Hornets 2-1 right now, 139-113 over the Wizards. And the Celtics 0-3 against, are now 0-3, and the Pistons are 2-1. The Pistons beat them 119-113, despite Jaylen Brown's 41 points in that effort. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I know we talked more off the court stuff, but it tied in a lot of stuff we talk about here in the basketball world. D-Locke, how can people find you on social media?
You guys find me at Black-813. The Bucks did get a win today. Ugly win, but got it done. Our week, it's time to get healthy now, man. Let them know they can find you in the show's page.
You can find the show's page as Fast Break IESR. That's Fast Break IESR. You can follow me on Twitter at Spawn4288. Spawn4288. I only tweeted one thing about the Titans game, that Jalen Armour Davis sucks. And I think somebody or him, the burner account, commented on my post saying he's been playing well, which he's been playing like cheats. So make that as you will. But Jalen Armour Davis, you've been playing like cheats. And I know that's your burner account, dude. But anyways, that's my handle right there. You follow our Sports Radio and all your social media feeds: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube. Do just follow on those social media platforms. That'd be great. Give a like and follow. Do check out the playback on this show here tonight. All the heavy stuff, lots of stuff we didn't get into, to be honest with you. And more stuff that come out in the coming days here about the gambling situation and Adam Silver's trip to D.C. to talk to Congress. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully next week we'll talk more actual basketball. Until then, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.